Our next topic is prepare for school exams, prepare for future. My name is Tatiana Shelepko. I'm a Cambridge English ELT consultant for the Lingvist company in Ukraine. And I will tell you about our new edition and how it works with the 10th grade. And also we will talk about some preparing for future activities and tasks. And we will look inside this book. Prepare for School Exams is a book for the 10th grade for Ukrainian students of the 10th grade. We might call it the high school. What I like about this book is that it keeps the authentic content, but it is adapted for Ukrainian needs. And the first thing I want to ask you before we go to the content, what do you think, which profession will be the most valuable by the year 2030? I will repeat the question. Which profession will be the most valuable by the year 2030? Okay, psychotherapist, IT manager, doctors, digital psychologist, IT, diplomat, IT teacher. Okay, that is interesting. I will show you the research. You keep thinking, but mostly I see IT sphere, teacher, social workers, and psychologists, right? Okay, that's nice. Astronaut, ah, yeah, hopefully. Mechanic, driver, it depends on what kind of driver. I believe there will be pilots who will be just managing it from the office. Environmentalists. Okay, thank you very much. That's really interesting to think about it. But of course, you can never predict, right? It is impossible to predict. But still, the main professions, the essential professions would always be a doctor, a teacher. They will never disappear. I do believe that. They might transform in some way, but they will never disappear. I will show you 4 scenarios of possible development of work field in the world, which I read in a research by the Oxford University Press, by the way. And they say that there are 4 ways of developing of the working sphere. There is collectivism and individualism, fragmentation, and integration here. And in this circle, you can see that in the first case scenario, we put the human in the center. The human is the main value. This is something that was done by Europe after the Second World War. And it worked for the Europe for quite a long time. Unfortunately, it didn't work in our country or in our neighboring country. Another one, Red World, they call it innovations. Innovations are in the center of the world, which means that people like Elon Musk will be on the top. Another scenario, the kingdom of corporations. Corporations meaning that there will be a lot of people working, hired workers that work for money in some corporation, work from time to time, and sounds a little bit dystopian, like in a metropolitan film or something. And another one is corporate care. It's when not a human is in the main value, but corporate care is when a community is a main value. To me, this one that tends to be closer to collectivism and integration sounds the most realistic, because we now noticed that being just a human as a main value is very difficult. During the pandemic times, the research is from before pandemic times, but during the pandemic times, we saw how difficult it is for a person to be alone. It is crucial to connect to other people, to be in the community. Another thing is nature. We also noticed how crucial it is for a person to be close to the nature, not to be alone in the city, or even not to be in the community in the city. So nature and healthy communication are the two main things that define a person. And most probably in our future better world, the nature and the healthy relationships among people will be the main processes and the main actually professions connected to this. So those who are saying environmentalists and psychologists and teachers, of course, make sense. Regarding IT sphere, what they say in this research, that IT sphere will be something very much like English these days. This will be a must-have for any profession. If you don't know how to code in future, after 2030, it will be difficult for you to do any other job, because the rest will be built on digital literacy, English language, and life competencies, the collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, social responsibilities, and learning to learn. So these will be the main things. And here is the list of professions that, according to this research, the most important ones by 2030. Solar energy technicians, wind energy technicians, home health aides, personal care aides, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, statisticians, because we will have so much data to be analyzed that we will need people analyzing loads of data. Physical therapist assistants, application software developers. So you see the first digital profession here is on the 9th place. Then mathematicians. On the 12th place, you see bicycle repairs. I find it a little bit too optimistic, but you never know. So what does it mean that environment will become a huge issue, especially when nowadays there is absolutely no care about the environment from our neighboring country, not only human lives, but also the environment. When on the whole earth there are conferences about climate change, and it will be a huge issue later. It's already a huge issue, but later it will be not time to think how to fix it, but it will be the time to think how to prevent what's already done and build something that will fix it finally. Anyways, in all these possible scenarios, the only thing that is that stays essential is life skills We were talking about life skills at the previous webinar. Digital literacy, yes, but still life skills would be the most important. And in this green world and corporate care world scenario, we will need people who can communicate, who are prepared for any change of the world, any change in the environment, any change in the connections between people. We cannot prepare them for some specific challenges of the future, but we can teach them how to learn the new things, because we live in the world that is constantly changing and really fast. And we can teach them how to stay human in these circumstances. So in any learning process, the main thing, the first thing, is setting the goal. And depending on the goal we set, we work. And you can see there are different ladders on this picture, but the longest ladder is connected to the goal, not because it's just the longest and it has the most resources. Yeah, we come to this world with very different resources as humans, with very different resources as economical part of the society and so on. But when we set the aim, we know where to grow. The same with English language, the same with our subject, the same with our teaching. We need to set a very understandable goal. What is our task? To teach students how to use English, or to teach students how to be human beings, or teach students how to be a good part of the society, the patriot, and these things. And how we combine all this so it falls into all the things that are interesting for us. Do you know this person? I might have shown you this on some other webinar, but still, do you know who this is? Okay, I have the answer no. Anyways, it's not very bad that you don't know this person. I think he's going into the past, but he is the author of the idea of super objective. Super objective for he was writing for actors and theater directors and films and so on. This was Konstantin Stanislavski. And he had this idea of super objective, which sounds really great. He's quite a contradictory author, but if you take this idea and work on it, you might really feel how from a different field there is something that can help you to understand your teaching goals as well. So how he approaches the super objective idea by asking questions. Who am I? Where am I? What time is it? What do I want? Why do I want it? How will I get what I want? What must I overcome to get what I want? This is basic questions for any actors taught in drama schools, and basic questions to build the character. But also, these are basic questions to reach the goal that is set in front of this character. For example, if I understand who I am, yeah, my role is a teacher. Where am I? I'm at home teaching online. What time is it? Well, it's the time of war, evening. What do I want? I want my students, and this is something that you do. We have this mission in our drama school that sounds like we want to make people better people. Yeah, even though we are very much focused on English language because we teach drama in English. We are focused on good acting, but our super objective is we make people better people, yeah, make a person a better version of himself or herself. And in this case, we then break it into other components, like with language, the level of language, the quality of acting, the quality of understanding and analyzing written texts, of understanding and analyzing the history of drama, and so on and so on. And the same we do for English. What I want my students to be, yeah, not just English speakers. Yeah, I want them to be people who can properly communicate in any social circumstances and be successful using the tools that I give them. For example, why do I want it? That's something you can answer yourself. How will I get what I want? Here we put which books to use, which platforms to use, which other instruments to use, who to listen to, how to do our professional development, and what must I overcome to get what I want. Here we're talking about different obstacles. We need to overcome denial of the students. We need to overcome our own, sometimes laziness, sometimes lack of motivation, sometimes low internet and other things. So all the possible risks that are standing in front of us. And then anyways, we will reach what we want if we actually set this goal. Okay, I will now move, how you can explain it to your students through the role play. Yeah, you set your goal and students set their goal, and when there are two people with two goals, there is always a conflict, and it can be done through a role model, through the role play in the classroom. For example, this simple activity which we're doing for the first month of teaching students, you can actually use it in the classroom, and it provokes a lot of improvisation and how we call it, on foot communication. So I'm a teacher. Yeah, I realized that. I'm in the classroom. For example, it's the last day before winter holidays, which is quite soon. I want to decorate the Christmas tree. Why do I want it? Yeah, I create it for myself. For example, I want to do it because my friends are coming to the party tonight. How will I get what I want? I will just go from school as fast as possible to decorate my Christmas tree. What must I overcome? Here comes a student. A student, he's also in the classroom. The last day before winter holidays, the same time. But he wants to get a better mark for the term, while I want to decorate my Christmas tree. Yeah, this is a very simple example of these goals and how they work. Why does he want a better mark? Because, for example, his father promised him a toy for a better mark, a better toy for a better mark. How will I get what I want? I will go and ask the teacher what I must overcome. The teacher's desire to decorate the Christmas tree. Yeah, so if you explain these goals, then you can have a really interesting conversation between these two people. And compared to the conversation guides in the books, where it's all done by the instruction, if you just add more of this super objective to the conversation, your students will be speaking much more alive. And how will it help? Of course, it's about collaboration and collaborative involvement into this process of brainstorming about aims. Then critical thinking, because you need to listen properly to your partner and understand what really makes sense, what doesn't. Creativity, definitely. Communication, improvisation, managing conversations, and real life conversation, also distance. Because if you have two students in the classroom and you are a student and you are a teacher and you have a conversation, and then we have a topic, for example, not Christmas tree decoration or just Christmas, but we have a topic in the shop. Yeah, I want to buy something, and here is a shop assistant who wants to go home faster because they have a Christmas tree and the same thing. Yeah, we use the functional language, but our conversation is alive. And why it's alive? Because there is a distance from me being a student right here, right now, and doing this dialogue from book, and me creating a character who is a character in some specific given circumstances. And I'd rather believe something that is distant from me. It's easier for me to talk when it's not me speaking, it's not me making this mistake, it's the shop assistant who is selling jeans to my partner. And this distance psychologically works in a really positive way with students who have language barriers. Okay, I have so many questions here in the chat. I will just check them. Ah, someone recognized Stanislavski. No, I actually didn't think that it's not the best example. Les Courbas would be a better example. He also wrote about this. Anyways, let's move on. What about the exams? And when we have this wonderful communicative atmosphere, what about the exams? And setting the aims. So when the teacher says, we are going to prepare for exam, and the 10th grade is the whole year of preparation for the 11th grade when they have exams, right? You all know that it's time to talk about the exams already in the 10th grade because students get too relaxed. They don't have their exams yet. But when you say we're going to prepare for exams, there is definitely no motivation. If you say we will have fun today, there is a lot of motivation, but it's not specific, as well as preparing for exam is not specific. And this kind of setting the goal might play a bad joke with you. But if you are specific that, hello, dear students, today we're going to learn how to talk about our experiences. And what topic, what grammar would be learned here? Yeah, most probably it will be present perfect when we're talking about experiences. And we don't say we're going to learn present perfect. This is also a little bit demotivating for students. But when we put it in a way that might be interesting for them, yeah, because it's always interesting to talk about myself. And especially for teenagers, they love themselves so much, and at the same time they hate themselves so much, and this is also dramatic in this age. But when you tell them, we will talk about your experience and you will learn how to talk about your own experience, then emotional element is involved and so on and so on. But the main thing is that you set the goal. And when you set the goal, students will reach this goal together with you. And it is really important to set the goals for exam courses. Typical aims for exam courses would be to cover the content that is assessed in the exam. And here we're talking about the external, state external examination, independent examination. Then to familiarize learners with the exam format and task types. Yeah, it is there in the book. To teach language that students will find useful in their future lives. This is the most important for setting the aim. We need to teach the language that they will actually use, and we need to teach the language that will be used not only to get a good mark, but to make it practical, to acquire it and then go somewhere and use it. Then to make lessons enjoyable and engaging. For me, this one is the most important, because when you have this enjoyable form, there is always good learning, because you connect you connect in your memory to things that provoked emotions in you. To ensure students get the best possible results, of course. Yeah, so if we talk about the first aim, know task types that I mentioned, know how performance is marked, know about typical mistakes, know what gets good marks, and work on timing during practice tests. And this is in the specific exam preparation. Now, develop good study skills. Yeah, it's not about the language. It's about it's about how we can motivate students. Choose texts and topics that relate to learners' circumstances. Encourage independent learning, autonomous learning. Use real-world situations to present language. And real-world situations in the classroom can only be done through play, through game, through fun, and, well, possibly acting. Choose topics learners enjoy, relate to, personalize activities, make tasks into games, vary activities, don't do too many practice tests in the class, use songs and videos, not only for primary students, and this is something I do a lot with adult students. Make them come back to this childish desire to discover the world through anything, to be open to learning. Yeah, and you can do this by reducing their shame, reducing their language barrier or other psychological blocks. And this is done only through creating very safe environment where anyone is able to express whatever they want. Well, to a certain extent, of course. What are typical exam task types that are used in, particularly in the prepare for school exams? Multiple choice questions, dictation, writing discursive essays, describing a picture, close text or filling in the gaps, word formation gap fill, completing sentences by changing the root word. For example, beauty, beautiful. These are exam task types, and how to make them more communicative. Yeah, like multiple choice. Give learners just the text and questions, but ask them to write the answers, including some distractions. Make students create their own task. Always works. Other options could be give learners the text and the key, or all the options, and ask them to write the questions, to guess what was the question. That's how you familiarize students with the exam format. Then give learners just the text and ask them to write the questions with or without options. Learners discuss the answers in pairs rather than just work on them individually. That's an important part here, to create this teamwork or pair work environment where they prepare together, but then when they're doing the practice tests, this is done individually. But when they're learning, it's better to learn something together, again, because of this emotional element. Put learners in teams to answer the questions. For example, make the activity into a competition. Always works as well. Competition is better than just filling out the gaps. Now, prepare for school exams edition for 10th grade. This is the new course that correlates with the Ministry of Education program. It prepares for state exams and pulls students up to B1, B2 level. So it's closer to the B2 level. Yeah, when they strengthen their B1 level and climb to the half of B2. This is what prepare for 10th grade does. It consists of 20 units, has 5 culture sections, 5 life skill sections, has 5 reviews after each block, videos and tasks for all the videos, unique test system with several options of testing. Cambridge and Lingvist worked together on this book to adapt it for Ukrainian needs, Ukrainian students and teachers' needs, and to keep the Cambridge methodology in it. And what I love the most is that most of the tasks are as a guided discovery, especially grammar is presented as a guided discovery where students make their discovery on their own. And here you can see one of the topics related to our previous webinar, the ICT literacy or digital literacy. And here is using social media responsibility. There is a wonderful text, how responsible are you online, with a lot of interesting facts. For example, here it's written on average people aged 16, 20, sorry, here is the text, have nine social media apps or accounts. This is huge. I have 5 and I feel like it's a lot, but people 16, 20 have minimum 9. You can see here that there are lots of wonderful language tasks that consolidate what was learned while they were doing the material from the unit. There are reading tasks, listening tasks, all in the exam format with a multiple choice, filling in the gap in the task, in the text, and true or false questions after listening part. And also there is, here you can see how the fill in the gap task works. And my favorite part is project. And there is a guide, there is a task to make a guide to using social media responsibly, something that students have to create together in teams and decide on their own the main message that they want to communicate, only one main message, then choose a specific target age group so they can actually do it for adults. Especially kids in today's 10th grade might know much more than we know about online security. Brainstorm advice you want to give, use different ways to make your advice memorable. And what does that mean? Use visual content, use videos, use examples, and make sure the sources are reliable. Decide how you want to present your guide, a poster, a video, a blog entry, or etc. The best is when it's presented as a video, really, where students can open up, can talk, can communicate, but before that, they have to write the whole scenario. And divide the project into smaller individual tasks and decide who will do that in the team, right? So everybody has an individual task to prepare the material and then to present it in the classroom. And we're going to the end of our webinar, almost. There are a few more things that I want to communicate. First is what we're doing now digitally. And second is about our competition that we held, and we have a few winners. So we will give quotation of those winners that shared their advice with teachers. So access to education in any circumstances. We have video lessons, we have landing page with a lot of free resources for teachers and students in for different age and wherever teachers are in the world, not just in Ukraine. New Ukrainian school reform that means all the information about prepare is collected in one place at the Publishing Linguist website. And every month we hold a webinar for teachers like we're doing right now. We also have recorded live events about teaching in difficult and challenging circumstances that we held in March and April this year. I was working from the bomb shelter. My friend, my colleague Darina was working from another city. And our colleagues were trying to help us from different Cambridge locations. One of them actually worked from Syria, telling our teachers how to be successful and how to make your students successful and happy in such circumstances that we are having. So actually people work in such circumstances from the beginning of the times of the humanity. And you can listen to different experts who have such experience, like teaching in war, in Palestine, in Syria and in other parts of the world that have similar situation. We have resourceful PDFs on our Publishing Linguist website. We use social media a lot, and we encourage you using your social media and communicating with students, but we use our Facebook page with all the information possible that we post there, and you can find it there and use whatever you want. And also Cambridge Life Competencies cards. This is something that creates this, that embodies the idea of teaching in any circumstances. These are great cards. Some of them I've showed to you, and you are able to download them from your thank you letter, which you will get at the end of the webinar. And now the results of the competition we had for a few weeks. We asked the teachers to describe their interesting experience with Prepare Ukrainian edition in the 5th grade, or to share some good advice with teachers. And I'm turning into Ukrainian language. So this one from Інна Дерев'янко з Краматорська. Інна Дерев'янко написала нам такий відгук. У цьому році вперше почали працювати за підручником Prepare з моїми 5-класниками. Курс відразу сподобався і мені, і дітям, але саме здивування і зацікавленість виявилася під час опрацювання відеоматеріалу. Діти були в захваті, що змогли переглянути відео англійською мовою, все зрозуміти, виконати завдання до відео та ще й на його основі виконати власні презентації самих себе. І це тільки початок. Нас чекає багато цікавинок та нових знань, адже матеріал побудований системно, цікаво і творчо. Дякуємо авторам. Another winner – Яків'юк Світлана з школи в Херсоні. Дуже рада, що маю змогу скористатися нагодою і попрацювати з дітьми з підручником Prepare для 5 класу. Матеріал насичений, яскравий, цікава і сучасна подача. Готую презентації на свої онлайн-уроки, деякі записую для своїх учнів, оскільки частина учнів знаходиться в окупаційному Херсоні і не мають можливості систематично відвідувати онлайн-уроки. Моїм 5-класникам подобаються інтерактивні завдання «Колесо вибору», для створення яких також беру вправи з Prepare 5. Нещодавно проходили Великобританію, Culture Page. Дітям сподобалось уявляти себе у ролі мешканців частин Об'єднаного Королівства, шукати їх на мапі, називати столиці. І Світлана поділилась з нами інтерактивною вправою, яку я зможу надіслати в кінці вебінару в чаті. Анна Орел з Миколаєва. Ми з дітьми розпочали тему My House. Під час дистанційного навчання їм подобається працювати з Google Presentations, адже можна її зробити анімованою, кольоровою, вставити будь-яке відео, посилання, аудіо і так далі. Адже це не просто включити демонстрацію книги і йти по написаному. Нещодавно ми прийшли з дітьми під тему «Що в моїй кімнаті?», розбирали There is, There are, і знову ж таки працювали з презентаціями. Їм дуже сподобалось працювати з іграми, завжди використовую інтерактивні платформи Bamboozle, Wordwall, з їх допомогою закріплюємо пройдений матеріал. Саме з цими двома платформами учні гарно засвоюють будь-які правила та лексику, а часу на підготовку витрачають дуже мало. Моя порада вчителям – підготувати та виконати якісно і результативно 2 чи 3 вправи, аніж купу непотрібних. Головне, аби діти могли застосувати це на практиці. І Ганна Перколаба із Стрижанівки надіслала нам невеличкий жарт. Уроки онлайн, на жаль, але дуже кумедним є те, що у діток купа домашніх улюбленців, які є членами їх родин. Учні 5 класу вміють круто порівнювати їх з членами своєї родини. Наприклад, my dog Pete is like my uncle Slava. I asked, what do you mean? And the boy answered, oh, he's always angry. Тому, якщо захочете поділитися своїми враженнями, будемо раді, але переможців ми вже обрали. I will turn back to the English language, where another suggestion for teachers would be different prepare additional materials. Here we go. So this is prepare grammar, prepare tests, prepare around the world, prepare for school exams. And also there is a great book we can read, which will teach your students reading, whether they are primary students or adult students or secondary students. It teaches the actual strategies of reading and how to do it in English. So if you are interested, you can go to the website on the bottom of the slide, Publishing Linguist UA. Okay, so if you still have questions, you can email me. Here is my email, and I will go to the chat to answer whoever has other questions. Okay, I have some thank yous. Thank you very much for finding the possibility on such a crazy day to connect and to listen to this webinar. I actually had a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Okay, you also stay safe. I'm wishing you all the best. All the best in this school year, in your lives, and in teaching your students successfully. And the main thing, when you're motivated, your students will definitely be motivated. Goodbye.